Hello and welcome back to Speed Demon Painting. Some really exciting news today, and we've got the new July releases from Warcradle Studios. The sixth faction for Armoured Clash, being the Commonwealth, is now being released, and it seems that they are releasing with quite a few items straight from the get-go, with the whole one-player starter set, the faction battle group, which is the big box, which is, well, close to a 1500 to 2000 point army in one go. It comes with the Introductory set that you would expect, but also comes with the separate deck that is tailor-made for the Commonwealth, and has a interceptor in there as well. And now I say that the deck is tailor-made, it is still the same deck that can be found in the Commonwealth Faction Battle Group starter set, but it does have the text, sort of both sides, the Conquest and Command part of it, the same way up, so that it becomes more easily readable if you like it better that way. And it of course comes with some cool iconography from the Commonwealth on the back of it. Now let's start things off with the big box. In it we can find the many different units there is. If you're buying one of these one-player starter sets, by the way, you're also getting some extra bonus pieces of terrain depicted in the top right corner. You are getting a resin behemoth, which in this case is this enormous drill part, this drill tank that can be seen up here. But you also get 4 sets of plastics. You get, of each type, I should say. You get 4 armoured sprues and you get 4 infantry sprues. And like I said at the beginning of the video, this leads to basically a full army in one go. But luckily they do have a couple of close-up shots, because these are 10mm miniatures, and of course it's pretty hard to get good detailing on them if you're displaying them all together. The first one is the Ryadovoy Rifle Platoon, which are the common infantrymen of the Commonwealth, but it does seem like it comes with a command base that has a cavalry officer on there, which looks really cool. I'm not quite sure if this one is going to be a commander option as well for your forces, because they do mention a different commander option elsewhere in the blog. You're also getting these beefed up Azdaya Berserkers, which come 2 to a base, which actually looks quite nice as well. And yeah, really do like the detail on them, and very cool little uniforms to get going, although painting the little stars on the helmet will be a challenge, no doubt. Mind you, you shouldn't be too worried about painting 10mm models though, because they take the contrast style paints really well, and they're actually a lot easier, if you ask me, to paint than 28mm guys. The models that are pretty much the same size as a 28mm model are the tanks, and for the tanks you have 2 options. This is the officer model, the Tsar battle tank, which has the commander poking out on the top, but you can of course also build them with the closed hatch to represent the regular ones. And if you're wondering why this is such an odd design, this actually was a thing that popped up back in the days for the Russians in World War I, where they had the Tsar battle tank, which has these 2 big mono wheels with some smaller tracks at the back, which is precisely what they tried to mimic with this one, and I think it works really good in its sort of diesel punk version. There is also an alternate build version, which is the Tsarevna strike tank, which comes with a bigger sort of shooting piece at the back, but also has what appears to be a flamethrower in the front. So I'm sort of not sure if it's going to be a longer ranged version or a short range version, but we'll find out soon enough once the Orbat gets released. And then finally, for the last bit of armor, at least I think it'll be armor, I'm not entirely sure because it's on a square base, are these, the Ryadovoy Rodina vehicles. There's 4 of them, it seems, in the set, so you get 2 of them in each sprue, which is really cool. And then these might end up being heavy units instead of light, I'm not entirely sure, but we get one of the coolest elements, I think, of this whole force, which are the Winged Hussar thread bikes. We have seen these before in Wild West Exodus for one particular model, but yeah, it's really cool to see them scaled down to 10mm. And then, sort of out of nowhere, the Commonwealth also includes Mongolia, and the Mongolians are represented in this box as well with the Steppe Outrider Cavalry. And there's a nice little nod to Wild West Exodus, because this one looks like a warrior nation horse, and it uses this sort of spirit bow, which is a weapon we can find in Wild West Exodus as well, because these are in fact warrior nation troops. They just do not belong, of course, to the Americans because these are the warrior nations of the warriors, I should say, of the Russian Empire, which is really, really cool to see here. And a link with the animalistic nature of some of their warriors is seen here as well, with the Cossack Ovcharka war dogs. Really cool to see some common infantry in the back that uses war dogs. I imagine this one will have a bit of a hybrid of shooting and melee, but yeah, looks really, really cool. I believe you get 8 bases of those in the box. And to round off the painted models, we are also seeing these, which are the Keshig Sky Cutters. This sort of a land speeder-esque kind of thing, which is really, really cool, with the back end of the Russian airships from Dystopian Wars, sort of a mix between the two of them. And what I can tell from the article is that they are also going to have a command option to them. Now, the command option isn't depicted in the blog post yet. That's really cool to see that. And then finally we have these smaller drills, the Krot armoured borers. They seem to come with some anti-infantry weapons at the top, but yeah, I imagine these are your underground infantry transporters, because well, you're going to want to have some of your infantry not just treading along on the battlefield, you want to deliver them up close and personal. In addition to those borers, you're also getting these, the Diko Braz artillery borers, which have this sort of artillery piece dragging in the back. So yeah, the Russians too can bring some artillery closer to the enemy if they so desire, and start pummeling them from distance. The blog post then goes on to describe the rest of the things that are in the box. We get the Miron Super Heavy Borer, which has an alternate build version, the Mamont Subterranean Cryo Transport. Sounds really, really cool. You get 16 of the basic riflemen, so they are a bit more of a horde infantry unit that you can find, but there's only a single type of them. You get 8 of the Cossack war dog units, the Krot armoured borers you get 4 of, 10 of the steppe cavalry, and 8 field guns, which are not yet depicted in detail, because I imagine the team hasn't been able to paint them up in time. As a side note, always check back on these blog posts, because if more things are painted up, they will actually post them up as well and add pictures to them. You also get 10 of the heavy infantry bases, 4 of the Tsar battle tanks, 10 winged hussars, and then more of the Ryadov Rodina squadrons, the bikes. Also, you get 4 of the Keshik Sky Cutters, and that will include your commander option, so if I'm reading this correctly, you will end up with 2 possible commanders, the infantry and the Sky Cutters. And of course you get the rulebook, the regular Command and Conquest card deck, 2 Dystopian Age token sheets, 24 attack dice, which is more than you'll ever need to play the game, so don't be worried about them being proprietary dice. But you also get the measuring tool and objective spruce that I've already covered on the channel a few times before. And then next up they go to the Introductory battle set, which has most of the painted units that we've seen before, but here in the bottom right hand corner, which doesn't show up quite well on the screen crop, we have the little field guns. You can have them as what seem to be sort of a hybrid cannon, like the Drake Field Artillery, which can shoot at either infantry or heavy targets, but there's also a mortar in there, a seismic mortar that we know from Dystopian Wars as well, so there's 2 build options for those. The Introductory set does not mention the Keshik Sky Cutter Wing command option in it, so I think that's going to be a thing that's exclusive to the one-player starter set, the faction starter set I should say, and not to the Introductory one, which leads me to believe, like I said, there are 2 command options, one for the Ryadovoy Rifle Platoon and one for the Keshik Sky Cutter Wing. Now, last month there was only a single really new release, which was the train, the new type of train, the Lakota Heavy Rail for the Union, which meant it was a bit of a slower month, but that seems to be compensated this month because the Commonwealth is just getting everything out of the gate, and that actually includes their aircraft as well, because in the past a faction typically had the one-player faction starter set and the introductory set, and then the aircraft came later. It's here already. Really cool artwork as well to see, and it's a very cool little strike fighter model. I do wonder what the weapon system here on the top is, because it seems to have 4 barrels on there. I think in Dystopian Wars they actually use a sort of a rail gun, so I imagine this is going to be a similar thing here in Armoured Clash. Having painted a few of the aircraft myself, these were actually quite a joy to paint up, because all the details is really well sculpted on there. It's razor sharp thanks to it being resin, so this one looks like it'll be quite easy to paint up. And you've got these nice little big glass elements on the canopy that are quite fun to paint up as well, if you want to flex your painting skills a bit. The deck of cards is also released, has some cool little artwork, like I said, in the back, and for those of you who prefer it, this is by no means a mandatory purchase, but you do have the text both sides the same way up, so if you prefer that one and the flexibility to play that way, you can do it as well. Just get this one. They're about a tenner each, so it doesn't exactly break the bank if you'd rather have them that way. And it's also important to note that if you just buy the introduction set, you will not be getting a Command and Conquest deck, but don't worry, you can actually get another one, should you so desire, by purchasing this as a side element, and then, well, you have one in theme with your army, which is always kind of nice. That is it for me for today, though, for this video. I'm about to finalize my final bit of marking for the exams we've been having here in Belgium. The last few weeks have been murderously busy, as they always are at the end of the school year, but I'm happy that is done, and then I've got a few more videos lined up for you, both the paint guide for the Imperium, the Imperium still has to come up, and there's also going to be one for the sort of the orange jackets that I've got for the Enlightened as well, so I really do hope to see you in those next videos. Until then, bye!